Paolo.
Hey.
So you speak fluently English and Italian, right?
I wish I spoke Italian. My dad never taught me.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
No, it's not, unfortunately.
But you can order a pizza at least.
Yeah, I could probably pull that off if I had to. In a pinch, I could get pizza.
Ever thought of getting into it, learning it by yourself?
You know what? I tried the Rosetta Stone for a little bit. I feel like I would just need to go live there and just be immersed in it and speak it. Yeah, I mean, I wish my dad taught me early on, but it just wasn't meant to be.
I'm sure in Italy, the people must, when you're playing Italy, people must talk to you in Italian and then, come on, you don't understand that?
I have that problem in Europe in general. Like, people just start talking to me in whatever language is the local language. I blend in, I guess.
Yeah, you seem such a nice guy, so everybody thinks you're, from around,
Yeah, well, I hope so. Hope that's the vibe I'm giving off.
You joined a band that has sold a couple copies.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. How was that when you made it, when you got the gig?
Well, I mean,
Who did you call first to tell?
I mean, it was cool how it worked out because we literally had crossed paths a few times when we were in other bands. I was in another band, a local band I'd been in for 6 years. Trivium had been around for a bit. And we kind of just had this, crossing through playing shows, and a guy named Jason Sukoff, who produced the first Trivium album, Ember to Inferno, and the demo, and then went on to produce a few of our records after that. That was kind of a connection we had. And, when they were looking for a bass player, I was literally at the point where I was like, you know what, I need to look for something else outside of what I've been doing, because I've been the only one in my band to be consistent, to try to do this. I need to find guys that are like-minded. And, we did the first tour, and it was a trial thing, It wasn't like, hey, if I do this tour, I'm in permanently. There was an understanding that if it doesn't work out, cool, we had a good time, good experience for us both. But it was at the end of the tour they asked me to stay, and it was just sort of, it felt right, It just felt like we connected, and we felt like there was something special there, even, before anything really happened. So, it was just great. It was just such a cool experience to be asked to join a band and to just sign a record deal. That's the thing, any musician dreams about getting, and it's still just such an amazing feeling to know that we had the chance to go out there and prove ourselves, and we've been able to keep proving ourselves and keep making records, and we're still with the same label that we were with back then. And I think it kind of defies the odds nowadays to have such a stable relationship with a label and management, and not really having a lot of things changing, thankfully. And it's cool. It's just cool to be able to share that with your friends and family back home. And a lot of people have been rooting for us, especially our family. They've been our biggest supporters since day one.
Yeah. Well, on the other hand, the music industry has changed over the years. It's not that much about selling records anymore. Yeah. But still, Trivium has sold over 1 million. That's something nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, and now we transition to the next phase, streaming, and we're already well on our way to doing pretty good on that front, and I think it keeps growing. And I just am really excited where the next 10 years goes, not only for our band, but for music. I'm on the optimistic side of where streaming is going to take music. I feel like people are not just being turned into consumers and buying stuff. It's more about discovery. It's about becoming what I feel like musicians have, which is you have such a love for music and discovering new stuff and trying new things. It's shifting that mindset onto the people that buy and stream. Make them love music, make them passionate about discovering. And I think things are going to change big time and for the better. And I'm glad that we could be a part of it, and that we're on kind of the forefront of where music's going to go from here on out.
Well, you've said it. You're on the forefront. Also, technology-wise, are there already discussions within the band, with new technologies like virtual reality, doing a video where people you know, have their cam on or something, you know.
Yeah, I mean, we know quite a few people that can, you know, kind of put us in touch with people that are into those sort of technologies and that sort of art world. You know, there's so many people out, so many talented people out there that, you know, the possibilities are endless of what you can do now, and it's much cheaper to do things than ever before. To make videos that were impossible to do on a budget, you know, maybe in the 90s are possible now for maybe 5,000.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah, it's crazy, and it's as far as you want to push it and as creative as you want to be, it's like no one's stopping anyone from doing that. So for us, you know, we have a lot of friends that are in sort of that world when it comes to like maybe the visual arts and stuff like that, and they are people that we kind of look to for ideas for like videos and for maybe future DVDs or just projects. I mean, the possibilities are so endless now, and you know, I mean, there's some of the things that we've been talking to people about for even future ideas for videos, like, you know, just seeing like a reel of something they've worked on and saying like, how is that even possible? Like, how do you even make something like that happen? And it's just
people could hang out with Trivium in the rehearsal room, put that way.
My mind is constantly being blown by what's possible now. I mean, we did a Facebook Live. We had never done it before, and I think it had just started, and we did it while we were in Japan. And by the end of the live stream, it was maybe 40 minutes long, we had like, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views. People all over the world, 8,000 or more comments. It was just crazy. It was like the kind of engagement and people watching you from all over the world, all time throughout the day, throughout the night, just staying up to watch Trivium while we're playing in Japan. I mean, that's crazy. And that was just on an internet connection on a phone.
So it's like for you guys, it's also, you know, the curiosity of what's next, you know, what's the next step technology-wise.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to work out. There's a lot of unknowns and fears about it, but you have to kind of find your way through it. It's never been easy. I don't think being in music has ever been, there was never a point where it was like, well, you could just become a musician and it was like having a 9-to-5 job, you know. You got to put a lot in, and you're risking everything without any guarantee or any safety net. So for me, it's like, well, if we're going to be in this, let's really take advantage of everything that's coming out, whether it's technology, music, anything.
A word to your playing. You've started out playing with a pick, right?
It was kind of a brief period I played with a pick. I started with my fingers, kind of the, I guess, traditional way of playing bass, although, you know, pick is fine too. But I started playing with a pick on Ascendancy because the stuff was really fast and I couldn't play triplets. I didn't have the third finger down. And then once I got the third finger down, I switched back because it feels more natural to me to play with fingers.
I could imagine that they made fun of you in the band. Oh, you did play with a pick.
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounded good. I'm glad I played with a pick because it ended up changing the way my tone was, because I love the way a bass sounds with a pick, but I wanted to play with my fingers, but I wanted it to sound like I was playing with a pick. So I had to rearrange my tone, and I learned to love high end on the bass. So it was a good accident, you know, to have to play pick for one album. I learned a lot and learned to like certain aspects of it and appreciate it too, because I think bass playing with a pick or without a pick, it's all about the way you do it, you know, just being unique. I love players that do both.
But I was talking to Duff McKagan. He was like, man, you know, a good bass player, that's a musician, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I went to, not long ago, I've just started playing Warwick, and I was fortunate enough to go to kind of like their kind of summit retreat at their factories, and they fly in all these amazing bass players, and it just blows my mind how many talented people there are in the world, and how unique and how different everyone's playing is, and different styles of music, and just what you can learn from people, you know, just sitting back and letting people just get up on stage and play. And, you know, I think some of the best probably saw some of the best bass players in the world just at that one thing. And I love the instrument. I love watching people play and seeing what they're all about. And you know, it's yeah, I'd have to agree with Duff on that. You know, a great bass player. You know, like it's something that I think when people see a great bass player, like someone that can slap or do some really wild stuff, and what it can do to the music and how it can really alter the band and take it to another level, you really start to appreciate it. And even Duff, I mean, I love his bass lines. So,
who were bass players you were looking up to as a kid? Who were those you were watching live?
I guess, I mean, when I got into metal music, I mean, Cliff Burton, of course, Steve Harris, Dave Ellefson. I mean, it was really like, once I discovered one band, I discovered the other, and it was just, you just start going down that rabbit hole. It's like
Billy Sheehan?
Yeah, I love Billy Sheehan. He was actually at that summit that I was talking about. It was great. It's just, these guys are just so revolutionary. I mean, they were doing things that no one was doing, and that just always, it's such a hard thing to say, like, I want to do something that no one else has done. It's because it's really hard to do, especially now. Like, so much has been done and so many guys have come before you, but you know, it's really about taking all the things that inspire you and trying to put it into your instrument and pushing it as far as you can. But I mean, those guys that I just named, I would say that's like the bedrock of influence for me as a bass player. Well, I guess if I could give my tip for people being nice to each other, you know, if you have a disagreement with someone, I think you should hear them out, you know, what they think, what they're about. You know, don't just disregard someone because they don't fit your ideology or look just like you. You know, at least hear people out. I think if people would listen to one another and meet each other, you'd probably have a much more civilized argument and debate about things. And yeah, just give everyone a chance to have their time to speak, you know, and hopefully they'll do the same for you and work through things. Don't be dicks to each other. Hey, this is Paolo from Trivium on MULATSCHAG, the only TV you need.
Excellent.
MULATSCHAG!